primary ignition.
What's up, guys? I'm Emily Swallow. If you're looking at this, you're watching the virtual Cantina network. This is the way.
See, that was exactly what we were talking about before we came on air, is the formatting of every freaking graphic when it doesn't quite fit. But hello.
The little things people don't realize about folks like us that do stuff like this. It's one of your biggest issues is formatting 10 different formats. It's like the Apple and the Android users have nothing on us. We've got to have everything's proprietary when it comes to posting.
Yeah, but nothing works. But anyway, people are here, people are there. Hello there. I am not Spencer. Spencer is not available this evening. I am Dave. And this, joining me today on the ICCC Newsdesk, is ICCC founder Mike Havens. Welcome, Mike.
How you doing? Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we've done this before, and I really am glad to have you back and talk about the new season. But like I told you before, and I'll tell the viewers, we're going to stall a little bit before you tell you about the important things, which is ICCC Con, which is coming up very soon. On the network, man. It is Ski Pruckle Appreciation Week. Like Ski Pruckle, everybody, host of one of our shows, because he is an internet celebrity right there, is Ski has been to ICCC. He was there with us at the fairgrounds a couple of years ago.
Nice. Did he dig it?
Oh, he did. We really enjoyed it. We went together and we both, like, he cusses me to the day because I got him started on a Rebels cast piece. He was just going to do individual autos. That's like his jam. And I was like, dude, I got this extra poster. So he gets all.
Isn't that how it always starts? I've got this extra blah.
So he gets all the main SIGs, and now he's looking at tracking down, like, there was this guy in this episode. Oh, Brent Spiner from Star Trek. Oh, he's in an episode of Rebels, so I can see him on. So I got to get him on this poster. So we started some shit.
Nice, I love it, dude.
Yeah.
That's the way we all start collecting whatever. We don't really think about it when you start. It just kind of snowballs, and then you're like, well, I've got to finish.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You once you get going, you do. So, we got some people in the room. Some people are watching and listening. So let's talk about it, and let's start. For those that don't know, Mike, tell us how ICCC got started and what it is, and where we're going, because you're in year 7 at this point.
This is our 7th ICC Con. Yep. It started a long time ago in a galaxy far away, actually the same galaxy, but it all started out of kind of a necessity for 2 reasons. I started the Imperial Commissary Facebook group, and it's a Facebook group about collecting vintage Star Wars toys. And that group grew and grew, and it grew into 27 groups. It actually accounts for more buying, selling, and trading of authentic vintage Star Wars toys than anywhere else in the world, including eBay, for the record. Wow. But crazy, right? So we exactly vintage land speed right there. And what we did is that group started growing into other groups, like, we want a Boba Fett focus group, or we want a group where people can learn how to buy, sell, and trade toys. We want a group where we can do a pay it forward, where people give stuff to other people and then they keep giving stuff, and it's like a pay it forward group. It keeps going, and they do giveaways all the time. So all these different groups kept growing and growing into 27 Facebook groups about collecting. And then we used to do these meetups. People were like, you should do a real life meetup. So I said, fine. And we were in Lexington, Kentucky, at the Comic-Con up there, Lexington Comic-Con. And I said, I'm coming up. If you guys want to do a meetup at a bar or something, we'll go to a restaurant, whatever. We'll hang out. We'll talk about Star Wars toys. That was it. somebody on the group reached out and said, "Hey, man, I have a comic book shop up here. If you guys want to do the meetup here, totally fine." And I was like, "Well, that sounds great," you know. So literally, all it was is me and 14 other people. And we all met up there at this comic book shop, and I have a Revenge of the Jedi movie trailer from back in the day. So I played it on one of the old
a real
projectors from school.
Like
yeah, well, no, you know the one that goes like tick, 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 from like school when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like a school projector, you know? Yeah. And so we played it on the wall, and I bought Little Caesars pizza and some 2-liter bottles of soda. That was the very first IC meetup. But what happened is Kim Simmons showed up to that. Kim Simmons is actually on the guest list there. He's been coming to ICCC since the beginning. Yeah. Take my word for it, unless you have really good eyesight. But big TV.
We'll get to your guest list later. I've got full slides for everybody, man. So
nice. But Kim Simmons is the guy who took the pictures for the vintage Star Wars boxes all the way up until the Power of the Force line. So he did the backs, and the images like that and stuff like that. Sorry, I got a message there. But what he did is he happened to show up because he was already on our groups and I didn't know. And so he shows up at this very first meetup where we're eating Little Caesars pizza, and he brought like a whole bunch of internal slides and pictures and stuff like that. So that created this buzz, exactly like that face you did. We were all like, holy, that's no way, dude, you know? And so he showed up, and then that word got out to the people in the group that were like, holy crap, the dude who like actually took the pictures for the boxes that we collect just showed up at an IC meetup. So the next IC meetup had like 30 people. The next one had like 60. You guys know you did the same exact thing with the virtual cantina. You know, when you start out, there's a handful of people. So that's why I encourage everybody out there, no matter how big your group is right now, you don't know what it's going to be next year or 7 years from now. So keep plugging away, keep trying, keep building. Looking at these virtual cantina guys.
Yeah, we started out with another name that we're not allowed to use anymore.
Oh, no. Well, I can still use mine. Just to have them as a guest star, man. We'll get them back. It'll be all right. But so they kept growing and growing. By the time we hit, I think it was Celebration up in Chicago. What was that? 2015, 18, something like that. 16. Yeah. Anyway, whatever it was.
It's been a while. It was because there was supposed to be one in 20. It was the one before the 20. It
was right after Orlando.
Was it 18?
I think maybe it was before my convention. But anyway, that's when we did the last IC meetup, and I rented. It was 4 meeting rooms at that Marriott there. And they were packed, dude. We were packed in there like sardines. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, I'm going to throw the very first IC meetup in Tennessee where I live. So it couldn't have been that celebration. It had to be the one before it. I don't know. Anyway, people were there. They can tell you.
I think the celebration in Chicago is listing April 11th, 2019, if you believe.
Then it was after that. So I did a meetup afterwards, I guess. Either way, there were so many people coming to the meetups. I'm like, this is a huge thing. I'll go do a meetup in Tennessee. That was the original intention of ICCC. I'll do a meetup in Tennessee. So I was getting ready to go to the meetup in Tennessee, but where I thought of ICCC was that celebration in Orlando. And I had a VIP $750 badge around my neck, $750 badge around my wife's neck. My 2 buddies were there. Dave O'Brien, who runs the table gaming room, if you're into D&D, stuff like that, the table gaming room at ICCC, and his buddy Jim Magnum were there, who also runs the table gaming room. And I was like sitting there with a tepid water cooler in the corner. I just got out of the Celebration storyline. Believe me, don't get me wrong, Celebration is an amazing experience. It's just, I don't know, I'm a big dude and I tire out quickly, and now I'm like 44 years old, and like it's a lot of work. It's no joke, man. Celebration is just massive.
I get you. I was just there with an estimated 100,000 people, maybe more.
That's crazy, man. It's so big. I couldn't make it this year because it was too close to my con, but I did have my tickets, and they actually did. You guys, shout out to you guys for letting me advertise the charity on your page there, and it sold those tickets for a bunch of money, and that went to the charity, which helps out growing this ICC con and all the Star Wars stuff I do. So thank you very much. Yeah. But yeah, I was there with Dave O'Brien, my wife, and Jim, and I was eating a $35 plate of orange chicken, I wouldn't feed my worst enemy. I just got out of the Celebration store line, which took me 3.5 hours with a VIP badge to buy a Sarlacc that, like, it's a foam Sarlacc thing that I bought. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, I kind of regretted it after the fact because it was like 3.5 hours of my life, but it was cool at the time. And I was
out of the store. That's
yeah. Oh yeah, that was awesome. Well, I had a VIP badge to help. But so I'm sitting in that VIP room. There's a tepid water cooler in the corner, and I'm like, this is not $750. This is not this. This is insanity. We can do this better because it's not geared. It was geared towards the fans and the collectors and stuff like that back in the day. Yeah. It's grown so much. It's geared to, these are the next things coming out for Lucasfilm. This is the hottest thing from Hasbro. This is what's coming out next month. And that's all wonderful. And I enjoy that stuff. And I like keeping up on that stuff. But it's essentially a commercial for 3 days of like 8 billion different things. And I get it. And it's wonderful. So believe me, I'm not trying to badmouth it. Yeah. But I wanted something more for fans where we could just get together, hang out. God forbid there's a couple chairs where a couple of you guys could sit and have a conversation. You know what I mean? More stuff like that, where it's more centralized and focused and more immersive, and you're not going to be walking down the aisle and see a Singapore Airlines booth that doesn't really have to do with Star Wars much, you know? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. It's not a badmouth Celebration, but Celebration's become another thing. This year
it's massive. Yeah, it's like going to a Yankee game. Don't get me wrong.
1, maybe 2 vintage toys booths on the floor.
Yeah.
And I strongly suspect that they weren't the ones we were looking for anyway. It was like, I was looking for freaking Japanese vintage, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wanted ones from there. I think a lot of that stuff was shipped in, you know?
Yeah. A lot of it's cars and stuff. That's what I would have been hunting too. So, but, I don't know, man. Those like if you want to put a rain gutter booth or a T-Mobile booth, they give you lots of money. So I understand, you know, and I don't fault them. They're trying to run a business. I'm not trying to run a business. I'm just a crazy person that throws a really good party that a bunch of people come to.
Well, you're insane because you run another business and this is your past.
Yeah, totally. I move containerized freight out of New York and New Jersey in real life. Pretty much every transmission that's been in a Chrysler in the past 20 years goes through my trucking company. Harley Davidsons. I do Learjet fuselages, HP printer ink. So I have a good established job that has nothing to do with this. And I also have art galleries for contemporary art, Latin American and African art. I'm all over the place. Wow. But the way this all started is I was collecting the Star Wars toys, and I would give away the extra ones. And this group on Facebook was giving me grief saying I was stealing people's addresses to go rob their collections. So I said, forget you. I'm going to start my own Facebook group. And that's where the Imperial Commissary started. It's all because somebody told me off when I was being a nice guy, you know? And so it grew and grew. Right,
less vendors, more exhibitors. It Celebration feels a lot more like San Diego.
Right. And I totally get that. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. You got to run your business. I'm not faulting them at all. It's just, that's not what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for a sleepover for a bunch of 40-year-olds that play Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? And that's not what they're looking for. So
no. So, and some of the really cool things is you've had it, in the we talked about before is like 2 years ago at the fairgrounds, but last year at the hotel, you roll into the hotel bar after hours, they're your guests.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's go.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Beer with Jim Swearingen.
Exactly. Well, even Angus McGinnis, God rest his soul, I always love it when I see the picture. He was on some dude's bed, because they do room sales at night, which have nothing to do with me, which is also another thing that no convention that is a business would ever let anyone do, because it's essentially like, everybody gets a vendor table for free. Right. Please buy my vendor tables also. You know what I mean? It's like, but it works because they get it, you know? But you know how it is, dude. You go out there at night and it's like bonkers all night long. There's everybody buying, selling, trading, doing this, playing card games, playing lightsabers, drinking with Jim Swearingen. But Angus McGinnis, there's this picture and I love it. And he's sitting on a bed, some dude's bed, like, and he's playing with a Y-Wing. You know what I mean? Which is like, so special. And I have another picture where Jim Swearingen's in somebody's room and he's looking at all the X-Wings and he's talking about like why he made that on the X-Wing and why he did that. And these guys love it because it's a way more chill situation, even for the movie stars. That's why they hang out, man, because we're not pushing them into a back room to sign 30,000 Funko Pops in between their autograph session, photo op session, stage session. You know, we just leave them alone and give them good Southern food and put a bottle of wine in their room. And we're like, just nice, you know? But it all came because after that celebration and after the big, huge IC meetup, I was going to do an IC meetup in Tennessee. So I went into, it was called the Wilson County AG Expo Park. Now, it's a giant rodeo arena, dirt floor, and it has a room off of it that's 4,000 square feet. And I was going to rent the 4,000 square feet to do a meetup. I'm walking around looking at the room. The lady goes to me that ran it. Her name is Dallas, I think, but she's been there forever. She's still there. And I wish I could go there, but they don't allow alcohol and some folks like to drink. So, so anyway, I even just talked to her recently because I'm like, isn't there some kind of dispensation I could get some kind of alcohol? I mean, it's, you know, because I love the place. Exactly. But there is none because it's government owned. But so she goes, well, you know what? She goes, to rent the entire arena, it's only $10,000 more than renting just the room for the weekend. I happen to be on the phone with my buddy, Mark Ivan, and he's a collector. But I was like, oh, dude, she just told me 178,000 square feet I could get for $10,000 more. And he's like, dude, I know you, go big or go home. So I said, okay, I'll take it. I signed the contract. I gave I think it was $14,000 deposit or whatever. And I was like, let's go, let's run this. And so what happened is I ended up getting 178,000 square feet. I've never run a convention before. I am not an autograph collector or hunter. I don't know movie stars. I just got a Facebook group and the meetups were starting to get out of control. So I'm like, what do I do? So I tell the IC, and then I start making cold calls on like movie stars' web pages, right? Like you go down the bottom, there's always a phone number.
Yeah, there's contact. Don't know who you get, but you get somebody.
You get somebody. So I'm sitting there being like, hi, I know you sell like, I don't know, shoes or whatever, but I see that like they're William Shatner shoes. Do you happen to know who represents William Shatner and blah, 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 blah. And so eventually I get to a point where I get William Shatner. Like he's going to come to my convention. So crazy, right? Out of the blue. So I put it up on the IC and I'm telling everybody and everybody's following along because just like you guys, we have a nice big following that, you know, they're diehards. They help us. They are always there for us and we love them. So they started coming out of the woodwork and I had his buddy Phil who's like, hey man, I've listened to your podcast for a couple years and I love what you're doing with the convention. I was wondering if I could help. And I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. And what do you do? And he's like, well, I run all the conventions for the Rotary Club of America. Or no, the what are the one with the real estate people?
I don't know where.
Son of a gun. I've said it a million times in a million other podcasts. You can catch up later, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm thinking about so many things. But so anyway, he comes out of the woodwork, says that. So I'm like, yes, dude, that's freaking awesome. I get another guy comes out of the woodwork, says, hey man, I'm retired military and I do security and this like that. Do you need security? Yeah, dude. Brought another 10 guys there. My buddies from my admin team and stuff like that. And even a buddy from high school, like runs the convention store. Literally everybody you meet with a staff shirt on is a friend or connected to the IC or came up with us at one point. This is 100% fan run, own, operated, everything. There is no corporation. So what happened is I end up with this 178,000 square feet. People come out and they join the team. They join the leadership team. And we had an awesome convention. And it was a bit smaller because it wasn't in 178,000 square feet. And I think maybe like 1,200 people came. But it was awesome. And if you were a VIP, you were sitting there having literally an ice cream sundae social with William Shatner 3 feet away from you. It was that kind of thing. Nice. And there was, yeah, man. And we had a whole bunch of guest stars that year. I think we had like 18 guest stars that year. And it was like we had Flash Gordon, we had Corey D. Williams, we had Marina Sirtis, Renee Aberjonis, like a whole bunch of people, Stephen Constantino. but it was cool, and it was that vibe that everybody came to buy, sell, and trade, and it became really about the toys. So we did that year, and the thing I didn't know at the time of signing this contract is, do you know what it costs to air condition 178,000 square feet?
Oh, the electric bill wasn't included in your rental price.
It cost $52,000 to keep 178,000 square feet cold for 3 days. I lost my shirt, dude, massively. But it didn't matter because it's something I do for fun, and it is what it is. But it was still a wonderful experience, and people had the best time ever. So we go into the second year, and I planned for it this time, so I'm aware of the electric bill. And we sell a whole bunch more tickets, and a bunch more people came, and it was awesome, right? It was great. Everybody had a great time. And what started happening is they started buying, selling, and trading at night in the rooms. Yeah. So what happened is that second year, somebody there brought, and somebody else from Australia flew in and bought the rarest rocket firing Boba Fett on the planet. It's a sealed bagged example with 2 rockets in the bag. And it's the highest graded example. It's the only sealed bag one, this, that, and the other. And he bought it for $350,000. So that was at a hotel with 105 rooms in it in like Franklin, Tennessee. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and they were buying, selling, and trading like in the parking lot. It was hilarious, dude. And so that happened there. And that was the Kim Simmons moment for the convention. Because as soon as that went around there, where it's like, dude, and that Boba Fett, shoot, they're selling loose ones for $1.2 million now. That thing's got to be worth $3 million.
I have seen some of those in cons. I think there was one at San Diego that was just behind like bulletproof glass and crap.
Yeah,
it's just like.
So, dude, so what happened is the third year, come to find out, because that buzz got out there, all the toys came out, right? And there were 5 rocket firing Boba Fett's in the building in a rodeo arena with a dirt floor. Nice. On our third year. Like bonkers, right? So that buzz created more buzz, which created more buzz. And then I wanted to move it to Nashville because I wanted to go to somewhere with actual floor. You know, so we got somewhere with actual floor, and that was the Music City Sheridan, and that was awesome. The first year, it was really fun. Everybody was super ritzy. The con men started up, and what happens is the movie stars just cut out at night, and they play music on Saturday. So they join our live band because we have a live band, and that started catching on. So then the next year, we sold out. We couldn't fit any more people in on Saturday, and we had to shut off tickets at about like 1:00. So we went and we found the other one, which is the fairgrounds, which you went to.
That was my first year.
Yeah, the fairgrounds, we were rolling like crazy. So I was like, let's do everything, right? So I booked like 5 different things. We had a tiny town. We had a train museum. We had a helicopter. We had a demolition derby. Dude, I took every piece of thing I could think of and threw it at the wall and just saw what stuck.
Like the aerialists, like did you spinning around on the ropes and the craziness? It's
bonkers. Like, oh yeah, we still have them. That's the circus. Yeah, we even have a circus at ICCC. Yeah. It makes no sense. That's why everybody always pigeonholes us and throws us into the word convention. It's not a Comic-Con, man. It's like a crazy party for 3 days where I'm just like, hey, everybody come. Here we go. We're going to have movie stars, you know? And so the movie stars really dig that too, because they do a lot of conventions every year. And when they come and it's more laid back and like nobody's bothering them in the elevator, but they're like, oh, you're so cool. But they're not like, can you sign 15 pops on the way down on the elevator? Because we're not like that. We're just all hanging out, and then they get to hang out, which breaks down those barriers that movie stars usually have to have, which is understandable. I mean, if you're going to have 100,000 people in a building, you understand why they keep the movie stars on the second shelf where they look down upon you like it's like the Renaissance Fair. Yeah. You know, I get it. But we don't do that. I don't book movie stars that require like a cave, you know, where they put the pipe and drape all around them, and you're not allowed to see them even unless you buy a $400 ticket.
Had the one room off to the side that had the Rebels crew and the Daredevil crew.
Yep. But you could literally walk in that room and take a 360-degree picture, and you could have them all, and nobody would give you any grief.
But that was only those. Oh, and John Rhys Davies and Ian.
John Rhys Davies and the Emperor. Ian McGregor.
But everybody else was on the floor.
Yeah.
Just in regular booths, you walking up and down the whole time.
Yep. And that's what we want to do, because sometimes sometimes some characters, and that's the other thing that's different with us than a big gigantic con. I mean, shoot, man, you go to some of these conventions that are like corporate owned and they got 150 movie stars. Yeah. And I am quite sure Power Ranger #6 is sitting there in the corner crying because it's like nobody wants his autograph. By the time you get down to number 149, you're out of money, you know? Yeah. So we try to get ones that they have to be friendly. People have to like them. We have to hear about them being nice to their fans. And those are the ones we get and go after. And then we don't push them. We don't have them in a back room signing autographs. We don't, make them take this worst flight, this worst thing, this worth whatever. We make sure that everything is perfect for them so they start to actually relax. And when a movie star relaxes and can hang out with people, it becomes a whole different experience. So that's what we're going for.
Yeah, and before we get to like this year's guests and things, but like we're not talking like CD list people. Like last year at Nashville at your con, we're talking like Billy D. Williams.
Dude, Billy D. Williams was like the coolest dude ever. Anybody who's ever given grief to Billy D. Williams does not understand him or something, because he was so nice and so smooth, and he was the coolest dude I've ever met, period.
And like that wasn't all. You're sitting there going like, oh, here's Billy D. Williams over here, and over there is Warwick Davis, and you're going like down the line. Wasn't Zahn there last year? Timothy Zahn?
Yeah, we had Zahn and we had Mark. Well, you're doing a guest list from a previous year. Mark Thompson, the reader for all the Zahn books, and we put them side by side. But those are the kind of things we do, man. Like, all right, for example, like this year we got Warwick and Harrison, right? And Warwick is in as a Ewok, and Harrison is his son, and he's also an Ewok. And but we do things like that where we try to make a fun thing. Like we were the first one to do the Rebels all together like that for a con for many, many, many years. And we did it because they were going to be coming out in the, what was it? The Ahsoka show. Like we knew the Rebels were coming. We're nerds, man. We knew it was coming. Like, same thing. Like when we did we were the first ones to do the Clone Wars, where we had Ashley Eckstein, Matt Lanter, Anna Graves, and, who's the last one? James Arnold Taylor. But we were the very first convention to put all four of them together. James Arnold Taylor never did a show with them because he was a completely separate agency, completely separate this. The thing is with ICCC, we have once again, I'm just a crazy person with a little bit too much money that invites people to a party. So I call these agents and I'm like, I know you don't like this guy, but if you want to come, you can come. And then they all became friends, and now you see him everywhere because he signed on with that agency. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff we do because I don't have the corporate or the business or I've been in the movie business for 40 years mentality where I go, oh, XYZ doesn't like XY, so you can't have them in the same place. Nah, man. You're going to come. Is that cool? It's not cool? Well, it better be cool or you can't come. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very much that guy because, see, I don't have any corporate backers to answer to. So if somebody's going to give me I don't know, man. Like, I had one because whenever we have a guest star that somebody might not like, right? I make sure that it's somebody who either hasn't done anything or I check it out, like, really hard. I mean, I don't mess around. But, like if they have done something, of course I wouldn't have them. But we always back those people, and then it ends up being like, I don't know. There's people out there that'll get so mad about it, but the reason why is because anywhere else would go, oh goodness, all right, yeah, forget it. But I'm not like that. I'm like, listen, dude, come or don't come. But they haven't done anything wrong, so they could come. They like Star Wars. That's good enough for me.
Not have to answer to anybody.
Nobody. And that's what makes it so neat is because if I want to let people go buy, sell, and trade out of their room at night, I do. If I want to throw a pizza party with a bunch of Ninja Turtles, I do. If I want to, I don't know.
Which you're doing that.
Yeah, I am doing that. Yeah. If I want to get a helicopter, man, or demolition, shoot, I had a zoo one year, you know? Wow. Like we even had like an alligator with Loki ears and everything. It was a trip, man. Kangaroo. And like even the animal control came in like the first day and they tried to shut us down, but I did everything right. So they couldn't. But the animal control guy was like, dude, you can't have a lizard in a 4-star hotel. Like, you can't have a crocodile in a 4-star hotel. I'm like, listen, man, technically you can, and here's the paperwork. You know what I mean? But anywhere else would be like, forget it, man. Just forget that part of it. And that's why you end up with a bunch of Singapore Airlines booths. When I'm the guy where T-Mobile calls me up, they go, we'll give you $10,000 if you give us booth space with that stupid pink trailer. You know the one I'm talking about? Oh, who wants to be walking around a convention and be like, I should really think about my cell phone plan? Like, nobody. So they offer me the 10 grand, and I'm like, listen, you can't come. So you walk around ICC Con, dude, it is vendors, legit vendors. I let maybe 2 pop vendors in, and there's nothing wrong with pops. I know people collect them. A lot of people like pops. Pops are great.
40 booths of that.
You don't need 40 booths of that. But if you're walking booth to booth and you get to actually haggle on a 21 back Boba Fett because there's 25 of them in the building, that's a nice feeling to have. You know?
You had the year of the fairgrounds when I really got time to like hit the floor a lot. I was doing a lot more autograph stuff is the last year. But when I was really going up and down, there's Star Wars toys I had never seen. Okay. And there wasn't like one of them up on a shelf unreachable that is like priced out of this world. No, there's 3 booths with that. And it's crossover stuff too. Is like I have a very nearly complete run of the original Marvel G.I. Joe, like everything,
nice.
Like European versions, the this, the that, the whole shabam. I'm missing like 3 issues. And there was a dude there that I got to like literally an hour too late that he had sold one of the issues that I needed. And I'm like, but it was in the building, Mike. It was like, yes.
And that's even worse because it gives you that fear of missing out, man, because you missed out. But you'll find another one, brother. You'll find another one. And we always bring different, like if you notice, also something people don't tend to notice is pretty much all of our guest stars, they have some kind of action figure or some kind of collectible or some kind of, like, we are a collectible convention, first and foremost. We have panels by collectors. There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel where they talk about collecting Ninja Turtles. We have Ron Rudat there, who's the guy who designed like all the G.I. Joes and like the Cobra logo, and every G.I. Joe in an explosion artwork that you've seen is him. And he's just
a G.I. He's actually more than one G.I. Joe.
Yes.
Okay. Like Ron is Leatherneck. That's his likeness.
Yeah.
But Dusty is named after Ron as well. All right. Yeah. I got to share this one. This is one of my prized possessions from last year.
Ah, you got one, bro. Congratulations.
I did. This is a custom designed Star Wars G.I. Joe mashup designed by Ron Rudat. It's himself.
Yeah, right? Wait, did you see what we got this year?
Crazy. No, I have not seen what you got.
Dude.
I didn't know you'd released that yet.
Yeah, there's a video out there somewhere. But the other thing is about ICCC is we're not a convention that calls things limited edition unless it is. Right. So we make very limited numbers of these things. They sell out like instantly, but it's also because, all right, here's the whole reason why. You want to know the whole reason why I do that limited edition thing? Because I went to go try to get a custom Funko Pop or a limited edition Funko Pop for our convention 4 years ago. I happened to get the guy's number at Funko. He was a really nice dude. And he was like, sure, we could do it. He's like, the minimum order though is 60,000. So everybody that's going to cons getting a Funko Pop with a sticker on it, there's 60,000 of that thing. That's why you can find it in EB Games and GameStop the next day.
Because there were how many of that figure? Like 30?
I think 35. You can look on the back. I think it's numbered.
It is. You're right. 30 of 30 I happen to have.
30 of 30. There you go. There is a special... Yep, and he also autographed it right there on the floor.
There was a poster that you got immediately. This came in the mail like later, but you got the artwork, the concept artwork for this immediately, and I took it right to his booth, and there you go.
And but this year, what we're doing, we've done a custom figure every year. So there's been a custom figure every year, and they become really sought after because they're so limited. But the reason why is because it's like, dude, you can see that figure. I know it's hard for them to see on the screen, but it has the rivets, it has the O-ring, it has detail paint. That's all hand painted and handcrafted.
Well,
It
and
takes
I
forever.
appreciate your shipping and level. I did not put this in the protector like I put all my figures in. It came this way.
Yep.
Go the extra mile to go ahead and put it in a really nice collector's case when you ship it.
Well, we're nerds, man. We can't just throw it in a box like Amazon, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so for this year, our special mashup, Steven Radizak, who is the actual guy who puts it together and makes the artwork and stuff like that, he's coming back. And I got Jim Swearingen himself.
Oh, wrong Steven. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's Constantino. But I got Jim Swearingen himself, so the lead designer at Kenner, who made the X-Wing, who made the 12-inch Boba Fett, and countless other things, who made the original. He changed marketing. Yeah, there you go. But like everything you see there in front of him, he made. And also he was the principal designer at Kenner all through the Star Wars line. So I got him because me and Jim became really good buddies probably like 4 years ago. He's been at the con every single year. And he's awesome. And but I called him up and I'm like, Jim, I don't know if it's too much to ask. Once again, I don't have that thing in my brain that tells me don't ask this ridiculous question to somebody that is way out of the league of doing anything like this, right? I just don't have it. So I'm like, Jim, do you think it would be cool if you could maybe like design a figure for us for our exclusive custom figure for this year? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I haven't designed a figure in like 40 years, Mike. And I'm like, come on, Jim, you know you want to. So like 3 weeks later, right, my email pops. And in my email is literally like original Kenner blueprint designs of a brand new droid that Jim Swearingen literally drew. Like it is the most recently created figure by Jim Swearingen, dude.
Yes.
Like the king of Star Wars. So those are going to be extremely limited. We're going to have, I think it's maybe 50 of those total, but we're going to have those on site. So you don't have to do the pre-order, but it will be get in line first day. Cause obviously they're going to sell out.
I am getting ready to make phone calls when we get off of this.
But he's autographing all the backs of them. And then it is, and then you'll get your figure, and we're doing them the way it is this year. I could show you a picture. There might have been a video. I don't know how to get you the picture the way we are.
That you gave it to me.
Here, can I send it to you on Facebook, and maybe we can?
Yeah. Send it to me, and I'll work behind the scenes to see if I can't get it loaded up.
Hey, it's in a totally different format, so it'll be useless. Is that helpful?
That's all it is.
It was originally an Instagram reel, but there you go. But so what happened? Actually, his blueprints on the back of that there, so you can see it. But so Steven was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And what he did, his idea was to do them with. There's 3 different variants, but they're all going to be in blind boxes, and there is one chase figure. So they're painted differently. They have the ICCC colors. It's a brand new droid created and designed by Jim Swearingen, and it's going to be the freaking coolest toy in the world. They made 1 billion Stormtrooper Minon cards, but there's only 50 of these. Yeah. So it's sick, man. But we like to do that stuff. Now that right there is a little tiny pocket of ICCC that 99% of the people that attend have no idea even exists. But think of how much work and time and dedication and effort goes into that. That's because we're legit nerds here, folks. We aren't some corporation that called 1-800-FUNCO and said, give me 60,000 with a different sticker. You know? Like,
all right, we're going to try and see if we can't make this happen. Let's see if we can't show your teaser here.
Yeah, sure.
Also share the tabs audio or share a window. Entire screen. All right, let's see what we got here. We're going to share screen 1. We're sharing the system audio. Let's see if we can't shut down the Facebook, man. All right. Pro tip. Yeah, I got it. Okay, share the screen, man. Add to the stage. Oh, it's going to put us in the window, but at least it'll do it.
All right.
Let's see what happens. Let's go crazy.
In a galaxy not so far away, The genius who forged a generation of heroes, Jim Swearingen, the mastermind behind Kenner's Star Wars legacy, unveils his next masterpiece. Autographed, individually numbered, an ICC Con limited exclusive, available to view and order only at the ICC Con store, May 16th to 18th, 2025. Join us and fulfill your destiny. ICC Con 2025, secure your piece of the Force. Visit iccollectorsconvention.com for more.
Ha.
Now, at the beginning there, you can see the card back, and that's the actual design he drew there. So that'll be the droid, and it's going to be sick, man. But we have all little stuff like that. Like, catch a collector's panel. Go listen to Jim Swearingen talk. Shoot, go listen to Freddie Thomlin talk. He's awesome, man. He made like the ATST and a whole bunch of other stuff, like the 90s Batman line. But he's hilarious, dude. He's one of the most fun guys to talk to ever. He made the Hoth playset, the vintage Hoth playset. Yeah, they're down the bottom. But yeah, stop by his booth, man. He's hilarious. He also did a bunch of the Nerf guns and stuff. So Nerf has a lot to do with him. And he's a great guy, but Kenner designer, we bring the designers as well. And the reason why is because it is truly a collectibles convention, man. You walk down those aisles and they're all collectibles. And the wonderful thing is this year, we have more vendor space and vendor tables than we have ever had, including the fairgrounds. So, and it's all full. It's sold out. Don't buy your tables. They're done. Leave me alone.
I saw you, and that was weeks ago. I saw you post that.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago we sold out of tables. So yeah, all the vendor tables are sold, but it's about 3 times bigger than the Sheridan, and it's about a time and a half bigger than the fairgrounds. But the good thing is we also have split off rooms. So instead of like the people that do tattoos, the tattoo artists, instead of having the tattoo section in the vendor room, we have a separate room now. You know what I mean? So it's even better space and more space. So it's very exciting, dude. And I'm just excited that there's so much going on. I mean, the droid builders, we have the droid builders every year. They come, they bring the live action droids and blah, 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 blah. Now, usually we have, 7, 10 droids tops, if everybody shows. And the droid builder, the person I talked to, Bobby, writes me and goes, hey, I know that you always say like droid builders are free if they bring a droid and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, the thing is I already have 30 signed up and I think a lot more are going to sign up. I go, you got 30 droids? He's like, yeah. And some of them are kind of big. How big is the space? I'm like, dude, you'll be fine. And so that's what I'm saying. Like everybody's really getting into it. We have cosplay contests. Shoot, we have a trophy for the best vendor. That's the kind of convention this is.
Is this or that's what these are?
Yeah, there you go, dude. Yeah. So the one all the way down to the right, the vendor booth champion. So if somebody does bring that Rocket Fire and Boba Fett or Vinyl Cape Jawas or whatever's awesome, or I don't know, Darth Vader's hand, you could win the championship trophy. But yeah, we're the kind of place that we'll give you trophies for cosplay. We'll give you trophies for a bunch of things, droid building. The best swag champion we do a trophy for because you guys know you just came from Celebration.
Swag is off the hook at ICCC. Okay.
Thank you, man. Yeah, dude, it's freaking awesome. I love because everybody drops it off. What happens is if you have the swag and you drop it off at the ICCC store for me, then I will get it after the show and they'll give you a piece of something in return, like off the tables or whatever. So you get something in return for it as swag from ICCC. But then all of those go into a bag or a box. It's gotten to be like a big box now. It's crazy. Everybody makes awesome swag. Dude, one guy made back to tanks, like little back to tanks like this big. He's got like, I don't know. He said he had like 35 of them. He's like, dude, check this out.
Custom 3D printed like Carrie Fisher. It was Gary Fisher on the top, but it was Carrie glitter, like vials of glitter.
Yeah. We had there was one guy. Did you see him? I don't know if you saw him. I think it was last year or the year before, but he was walking around and he was a milkman. He was dressed as, and he had blue milk.
Yeah, he had the blue
and
milk.
He'd give you blue milks.
I have one of those. Yeah. Well, I've already designed several pieces because I do it for other people, but this was like mine right there.
Nice, dude.
So it is
Jedi.
Jedi, and it has Ron's name spelled backwards right there on the epaulet, right there on the patch, because
I love it.
This guy is named after.
That's awesome, dude. But that's what happens. So we have a bunch of people bring swag. So if you give your piece of swag to the con store, then you automatically get entered into the swag competition. And what happens is at night we meet up because my team, it's gotten so massive that we just rent like a mansion kind of deal. And so they come stay and we go over there at night, we have dinner, and then we go through the swag. So we could pick the swag champion. So try to bring your swag in Friday or Saturday, at least to drop off at the con store. You can give it out anytime, but we go Saturday night and we take all the swag we got and we look through it and we just all come to a consensus on what the best one is.
Yes.
And then you win a trophy. So you get to brag about how you had the best swag at ICCC for a year.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
swag
it.
champion right there, the second one.
And my trophies, there is one rule I have with my trophies. My trophies must be able to count as a murder weapon in a police TV show. So they have to be heavy enough and strong enough to be serious. Those are made out of crystal. They're really nice, dude. But yeah, we do stuff like that. So I encourage you, when you come to ICCC, don't just go to the guest stars. Don't just go to the panels. Don't just go to the vendor room. Hang out and look in the nooks and crannies, meet a new friend, and build those relationships. Because, man, there is so much that goes on under the scenes or behind the scenes or has nothing to do with me. Just because I put, like, you know, a few thousand nerds in one hotel. And like the way it works, dude, and the reason why it works so well is because, once again, I'm a crazy third person throwing a party. But I walk into this hotel a year before and I go, how much is it to rent your entire hotel? And they look at me like I'm freaking bonkers because I dress like this in real life,
Right,
you know? And they're like, dude, who are you? You know what I mean? And then by the time I get to the general manager, like, seriously, dude, I'm still the guy that's picking up that phone call going, hey, I know you work in reception, but how do I rent the entire hotel? You know? So I eventually get to the GM and I talk to them and I tell them about the history of the convention. And I go, well, the way it works is I have to make sure I can rent the entire building. So that way my people can have fun all night long. They can buy, sell, trade. They can take over the lobby and nobody complains or anything because we rent the entire place.
Yeah,
it's
like the hotel last year, there were like not normies in the bar. No, it's everybody is yes.
Yeah. Well, I always have to tell them. At first, I'm always like, "Well, hey, you know, you're gonna have a lot of bar traffic, you know, because they don't expect it. Because usually bars at a hotel, you have some traffic, but these things, like, even though we're gonna have a bar crawl on Saturday night, you should sign up for it and go. It'll be freaking awesome. But they'll be on site. You can learn more about it there. But really search around and learn the different things. But I always tell them, stock the bar at the hotel, because we end up sticking around there a lot. You know, usually at any other convention, the bell rings at the end of the day, everybody goes. But here, it's literally, you're like at a Lollapalooza of toys. It's bonkers. And it's for 3 days, and it's really, really cool. So I encourage people to not only, you know, don't just enjoy the things that you enjoy at other cons. Enjoy those as well. We have them too. It's, you know.
Speaking of, you have them too. We've talked about absolutely everything else except the standard stuff, right? Like, we need to tell the people what's there, okay?
That's because I'm a collecting nerd, man. All I care about is the toys.
I'm with you. Well, I'm a person who collects the toys, and I've been pulled over to the dark side because now I get the toys signed. Like, like, you know, the guy that created the Razor Crest right there. Okay?
Well, see there, you bring it and you get Brendan Wayne's signature on it.
So, well, again, you have the things because you think I don't have the Brendan's signature. That's pulling out right here.
Oh, nice. That's cool, dude.
You collect all the things and you get the toys signed. So I got to know about the people that are there too. So let's like roll through the slides and we'll talk a little bit about them. So here's your, you know, big old welcome sign. This is you and like 47 cosplayers or something. Man.
Yeah, I think that was maybe it was the 501st picture or something, because I don't see anybody in there that's not a Star Wars person. So it had to be a Star Wars thing.
501st because they're Rebels in there. It might be 501st and Rebels Legion or something.
But. Yeah, I think it was like a Star Wars photo. We also don't. Okay, I support the 501st. I think they're wonderful. I support the Rebel Legion. I think they're wonderful. But I also believe everyone should be allowed to play. So this picture is definitely a Star Wars picture. I'm just saying, because the guy that won the cosplay competition was that dragon, remember? He was How to Train Your Dragon, and his like mouth breathed fire, and he was giant, but he's not in there. So I don't see anybody in there except for Star Wars folks. But
well, there was a Mary Poppins, but that was the only one they outlined.
Mary Poppins. Well, Mary Poppins can always go wherever she wants. She's awesome.
And then, your cosplay contest, you got that going.
Yeah, we do the cosplay contest every year, and we have guest stars judge it.
And then talk about some of your show exclusives here. You sent me these.
Yeah, Billy Martinez is an unbelievably great artist that I met years ago, and I'm actually into I don't mean to say real art. Star Wars art and pop art is real art, but I mean, I'm into like Latin American and African art and stuff like that. And he is a very good artist in Nashville. And I asked him a while back, I think it was the second year, if he'd make our con exclusive poster. And he's been making them every year for us. And so the con exclusive poster is right there that he made just for us, and it's for the 7th ICCC. And
you've got not one, but two?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the convention poster. Okay. So that one was made by Kevin Lyle. He was in Celebration. You might have met him. I don't know if you know him. Okay. But yeah, that one was made by Kevin Lyle, and that's our official con poster. And then we have a third one, which is the pre-order poster, which you might not even have a picture of, but it's a Boba Fett. It's on the website. You can still pre-order it. But and all of those, the reason why we do 3 different con posters is because each one is limited to 100. Everything we do is limited. So they sell out and then they're gone. You know what I mean? And I like that better because, I don't know, man, if it's something you can get, and I'm not trying to knock anybody here, but if I can get it off of Amazon the day after the show, and I live in Tennessee, and I'd even bother flying to Japan and standing in a 10-hour line, that's kind of, I don't like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you won't find that at ICCC. And, even though I am quite sure Amazon pays you a fortune to do it, but
yeah. And you guys have some special events going too. Is this, I thought, was really amazing.
Yeah, that one's a trip. That's a big deal. I'm not sure if she's ever done that ever before. But what happened, this is a funny thing. All right, once again, remember, I'm the guy that asks questions that I shouldn't ask because I should know better. So what happened is Katie Sackhoff, she had to do her podcast on Friday night, right? I didn't know that. At first, it was, she can only come Saturday. She's too busy. She's got to do this other. She's doing, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but so I won't. She's doing the biggest podcast in the world, like 2 days after the show, right? So she's got to fly down to Texas for that. And you can figure it out from that information.
You can connect the dots from that one.
Right. Totally. So she's going to that right after the show. So she had to leave Sunday morning early to get home in order to get down there for the show. So I was like, I lost her Sunday, right? And we had her Saturday. But I was like, listen, is there any way, because she was coming in on Friday, I was like, is there any way we could do something Friday night? Is there anything like why isn't she, because she was originally going to come in Saturday morning. And I'm like, but there's a direct flight, Friday night. Do you think maybe blah, blah, blah? And I was like, well, what does she have to do Friday night? Like, that's an obnoxious thing to ask. She's a movie star. She could do whatever the hell she wants Friday night, but I don't have that filter in my brain. So I was like, so what's Katie Sackhoff doing Friday night that's so important that she can't come to ICCC, And it ended up being her podcast. So I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. We got a big stage. It's really nice. We got a podcast team. We got an AV team. She could come here and record it. And the agent was like, I don't know. So she went and talked to her, and Katie was like, yeah, sure. Because she seems to be like the most awesome person ever. So I don't know. I've dealt with
her so very briefly, like a couple of times, but yeah,
dude, I think I've had probably, I think it's like 125 guest stars over the years, movie stars. And she just seems so freaking nice, dude. Like, listens and understands and is like, hey, do you think there's any way for the fans we could figure out something for like Friday too? So it's not just the Saturday people that get to meet you. And so it ended up being the podcast. I'm like, no problem. We can handle that, Yeah. And she's like, all right. And she's like, could we sell tickets to it? I'm like, you can do whatever you want. You're
podcast
Katie Sackhoff,
live audience.
Yeah. So what we did is we were like, let's do a live audience. We'll do the Sack Off Show podcast. I'll hype it up. I'll get my team in there so they'll help you. So she's going to have like guest stars on that. She's going to have, she's got her producer flying in for it. Like, it's cool, dude. And it all just happened because I was like, and then she'll come out and she'll sign on Friday for an hour at the end of the day. So even people with a Friday ticket can get her autograph. So that made me feel really good because it's always tough when it's like the busiest day will be the biggest guest star and blah, 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 and get in line early. I don't want to be that guy.
No.
So
that's not the only special things you got. You got so much more going. And
I'm sorry, man. I'm a talker. That was just such a big win for me, and it was out of nowhere because I'm obnoxious. So
I love it. Like I said, I was happy to put that, and that's like up there in the top of my slides. But we got to talk about all the things because you talk about how constantly this is a crossover convention because you doesn't have to be a Star Wars convention. It doesn't have to be G.I. Joe. It's what Mike likes. And what Mike likes
that's
is
it.
what a lot of us like. So
it just happens to be like, the things I like. Dude, I grew up with the Ninja Turtles. I had a Ninja Turtle skateboard. I love the freaking Ninja Turtles. So I got the Ninja Turtles. I actually got those because, you know what? It was funny, dude, the way that happened. I was on another podcast like 4 months ago, right? And they were talking about the drama with the one guy and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what people don't understand? And it was the same thing I'm telling you. They don't understand that this is just me and the things I like. And I invite people to come if they want to. I go, I'm going to, you know what? And just because they're acting like this, I'm not even going to get more Star Wars people. I'm just going to get like every single Ninja Turtle, you know? Yeah. And then I went and did it. So I was just cold calling Ninja Turtles, man, for like a week. But it ended up coming up, and now we have all the Ninja Turtles, Shredder, Splinter, April O'Neil. And what they're going to do is they're going to have a reunion. So you're going to see them on stage on the podcast or on the main stage. So you can have the panel with them and the Q&As. But you're also going to see them if you come and you grab the extra ticket because it is an extra event with the movie stars. And they get that money, not me. We don't add any fees or money onto the actual autographs on site. That's why our autographs are cheaper than literally everywhere else. Mm-hmm. Because you're supposed to, but once again, I don't have the business thing. I have the obnoxious thing. So, but they're all going to be there. And what we're doing is on Saturday night. So we have programming Friday, Saturday night. On Saturday night, they're doing, there you go. Wow, man, way to do the transition. I love it. They're doing a pizza party that's starting at 6 p.m. on Saturday. So the way it's going to work is we're going to start it off with watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And then at halftime, they're going to come out. We're going to have a pizza party that's catered by Boomba's Pizza. So we're not getting you Little Caesars. It's very nice pizza. And they're going to have a pizza party, hang out, do some Q&A, have a slice with the Ninja Turtles and April and Shredder and Splinter. And then it's going to go on into the Secret of the Ooze, Ninja Turtles 2. So you get a double feature and a pizza party that night. If you're a Ninja Turtle fan, it's literally the first time this many Ninja Turtles have been together that is not at one of the major conventions on the coast a few years ago. And I'm talking like Rhode Island Comic-Con and stuff, man, like New York Comic-Con. Like,
it's
a heck of a list.
I saw most of them, but I don't even think all of them at a con, but it's been years ago. And you're right. It was like something huge. And I don't even remember what it was, but So I don't
it's usually not a convention like ours.
Like the closeness that you're going to get. You're not seeing them in like a 4,000 seat arena or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean there's only 100 tickets max to that. That's the other thing. Even the Sack Off show and even this, they have limited numbers of seats and tickets. Like, we aren't just opening up a football stadium so you could see the Ninja Turtles 300 yards away. They're going to be like there. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It was another idea, and I was like, why not? When are they all together like that? We should do it. And there you go. So yes, all the Ninja Turtles will be there.
Well, let's go down the list, and let's go a little bit faster this time.
I'm sorry.
Katie Sackhoff, absolutely. Battlestar Galactica, Mandalorian, live action, and animated.
Yep.
Bo-Katan.
She's awesome, man. Katie Sackhoff is huge. She needs no introduction.
Absolutely.
There you go. How fast was that?
That was good. And also no introduction, and someone who's played all the things in so many of the franchises. You got Harry Potter, you got Willow, you got Star Wars. You have frickin' the Leprechaun. I mean, this man has been everywhere. Is Warwick great? Warwick was there last year, and I showed up. I wasn't necessarily like planning to get Warwick to sign anything. And what I have to do, I had to. I went on the floor. I bought a Ewok toy, and I took it to Warwick.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about Warwick, man, is right before he was leaving last year, he gave me all his photos, and he said, "Here, mate, you just keep these because I'm coming back next year." And I said, "Well, okay."
And I have never seen. Tell me if it's happened. I've never seen Warwick and Harrison together.
I don't know if it's ever happened before, but that's a nerd thing for real nerds, man. And the reason why is because I knew that he was an Ewok, and I was talking, and I've become cool with Warwick, and I actually even have his phone number and stuff. It's really cool to call him up, and if he Warwick Davis on the phone, but I just call him up, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I know that Harrison, I know he was in TFA, and he's an Ewok, and do you think there's any chance he'd come sign?" And Warwick's like, "I don't know. I'll ask him." So he asked him, and yeah, he's coming to sign, and then they're going to go, I think they're going down to Disney World after. So they're going to have a fun old time.
That will be great.
But yeah, how cool is that, man? Father and son. You can't get more feels than that.
No, that's great. Then on top of it, we got here is like my opinion, like the Mandalorian. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the guys in the suit, Pedro is Pedro. People love Pedro, and I'm not taking anything away from Pedro, but I mean, when you watch the show and you watch the guy walking down the street, that's a Wayne.
Yep.
Like you can see.
Yeah, he's got that swagger, man. Yeah.
But
I think when the first preview came out, I said, "That's so cool. The Mandalorian walks like John Wayne."
Yeah.
And it ended up being his grandson.
Yeah. It's
we got cool. That, like gunslinger thing going on, man.
Well, that's cool. Why if you notice on my helmet, he did not sign it Brendan Wayne, the Mandalorian. It's Brendan Wayne, the gunslinger.
Nice.
My inscription. Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
I know. And then we got so many more Star Wars people.
Yeah, for sure.
I have not seen Andy other play. This is not like he's not everywhere all the time.
That's because here's the thing. A lot of these people, the reason why I get them and other people don't is because this is the same thing that I go back to. It's not corporations, just stuff I want to see. I love Watto. I think he's awesome. But also he's really far away, and it's a really expensive plane flight. So people don't do it. Like, I mean, when we get to Tanwi later, she's all the way from New Zealand, dude. Wow. Like, it's really expensive, but that's also why she hasn't signed in like 16 years in America or something.
That is crazy. And then you go,
but he's awesome, man. Mind tricks don't work on me, only money.
Oh, and then this is a sweetheart right here. I met her. She was at our Boonta Eve special edition event this past summer. Margot is amazing.
She's so nice, man, and she's been writing me, and she is the only Ewok ever to wield Han Solo's blaster.
Yes.
Because she took it away from him when the Ewoks captured him.
That is cool. We've got Lewis here, keeping in
Sebulba, man.
The prequels.
Yeah.
Very cool. And like you said, I love how on all of your graphics here, you include like the toys, right? You've got the Lego minifig, you've got his Lego pod racer, you got the figures, all of the things that you can get signed. That's great.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a collector's convention at the heart of it.
And then here we go, Michael Brown.
Michael Brown, this is his first signing ever. He's one of those stormtroopers right there. But he's actually got an awesome story, man. The way he got into Star Wars is he was playing music at a bar, and there were guys in LA talking about Star Wars, and they needed extras for something or something like that. And he was just like, "Hey, I heard you talking about some show. I'll do it." And then he became a stormtrooper. But this is his very first signing ever. And the funny thing is when I first talked to him, he's like a pretty famous country singer with like albums that are like well known and stuff like that. I had no idea. So
and you're like,
I was like, "Hey man, I heard you played a stormtrooper once, 40." Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll come hang out in Nashville.
Yeah, he's like, "I'll do it, man."
and then
there you go, Tonwi.
Very cool.
Funny story about Rena Owen when I was getting her. I'm sorry, I know I talk too much, but that's what I do.
Go right ahead.
But Rena Owen, when I was getting her, man, I call her up and I'm like, hey, because I got her number through a friend of a friend. And I was like, hey, would you like to come to ICCC? And she's like, I've been booking up a lot of stuff lately, but I haven't done America in a really long time, so maybe. And I was like, well, it's a Star Wars focused convention, blah, blah, blah. She goes, you're not calling about Moana? I go, no, why? What about Moana? And she's like, well, I'm the grandmother in the new Moana that's coming out and the live action one and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and so I've been doing so much press and stuff for that. I'm like, oh, I don't care about that. You're a Tanwi, right? I do that all the time, man. And it's like, I get like people who do like tons of anime that are like super famous. And it's like, yeah, but you're Zeb, right?
Right. What's that character right over her shoulder? Is that like Star Trek? Is that an alien?
No, that was what is it? Not the Orville, the
I know. Yeah. Dang it.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it was a huge thing for that show.
Yeah.
It was a huge character. I'm usually I get to cheat and there's a listing of all the things they've done on the
Sorry, that's what I do. Is like put you on the spot. It's like there are no pre-existing questions on the Virtual Cantina Network. We fly by the seat of our pants. But Stephen Constantino, you know who he was.
He's the best, man. He's a grammarian guard, but he also leads up the con men at night on Saturdays. So you can go see the con men. They perform live on stage. They get the band out, and he rocks out on the bass. Stephen, the reason why we have him, we've had him every single year since year one. And it's because year one, being a convention promoter that had no idea how to throw a convention, I didn't realize you have to clean up at the end. Oh. Stephen had a late flight. And he was there pushing a broom with my wife and I because he is a sweetheart. So he will be able to come to ICCC forever.
Yeah, he was great. His booth was right across from the Virtual Cantina booth last year. And
he's a good dude, man. He's funny.
Yeah, we're just watching his interactions and hanging out while we're at the booth, and just watching him interact with the fans was amazing.
Nice, yeah.
And then you're talking about designers and like deep delves into the Star Wars that you start going. Right here, Roger Christian.
He's probably the least famous, most famous person ever.
Right.
He invented R2D2. That wooden R2D2 down there, that was the first mock-up for George Lucas. He built it. He built the lightsaber from scratch. He built the Stormtrooper blaster. He built Han Solo's DL-44. He built pod racers. And he also was like the unit director or something on the new movies. Well, I say new movies, but like 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
So he's super cool and super famous and has done amazing stuff. Battlestar Galactica and Aliens as well. But he made the lightsaber, dude. Like George Lucas was I need a laser sword, and this is the dude that went and found the parts to the cameras and made the lightsaber.
Yeah, he found that flash bulb attachment thing that and just added your greeblies, added what I think the handle is like windshield wiper blades.
Yep, windshield wiper blades, yeah.
Who thinks like that?
I don't know, man, but he also carved an R2D2 out of wood, and now we have R2D2 because of it. That's pretty solid.
And then we already talked about Jim. Jim is great. Jim's just awesome. At the Not So Virtual Cantina in Japan with us.
Yeah.
And Jim, you give Jim some props because Jim did not give away any of your secrets about the figure, damn it. Because I would.
Did he not? Awesome, man. No, Jim's good, dude.
Not say a damn thing to me.
Well, anybody that comes has to thank Jim Swearingen if you like Star Wars toys. Because when the script for Star Wars ended up on Bernie Loomis's desk, who was the owner of Kenner at the time, Bernie Loomis took it, threw it in his garbage can. Jim, being a huge sci-fi nerd, saw it in the garbage can, was like, hey, are you really going to throw that out? Can I have it? And Bernie Loomis said yes. Jim Swearingen went home that night, read the script, walked into Bernie Loomis's desk, put it down on his desk and said, we have to make these Star Wars toys. We have to be the company that picks this up. We have to be the one that does it. Now, most people don't know that before Star Wars went to Kenner, before George Lucas went to Kenner, every single other toy company turned him down. Nobody got it.
The toys that made us, they tell you that whole deal is, and
Jim, do they? That's awesome.
Whole deal.
The only reason why we have Star Wars toys is that man right there. So come and say thank you.
He is absolutely fabulous. He is into it. You were right. He is the Star Wars nerd. When I met him last year at ICCC, I had been there I'd met him other times, but he was dressed up as a Jedi.
Yeah, he does our cosplay competition. He's one of our judges.
Yeah, it was great. And then you talked about Kim earlier.
Yeah, we talked about Kim.
That is just perfect. Is you got all the photography and how, I mean, he really represents the toys and it just made you want to buy them. The box art on those. There is a reason why you can buy boxes only on eBay for these things. They're
well,
iconic.
if you look at the card back too, that checklist that we all used, that is a Kim Simmons picture. He laid down a yellow blanket and he set up all those figures. So like if you're looking at, a 47 back or whatever, those are all his pictures, every single one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is great. We got right here is Freddie.
Freddie, you got to meet Freddie. He's freaking awesome. He's hilarious. He's done everything in the world. He will tell you internal stories of Kenner that are hilarious. He also created the ATST and that 2 of the Hoth playsets, the background artwork on the Hoth playsets, but that one down pictured in the corner there as well.
Yeah, and I'm seeing, other crossover 80s stuff that's like the original Ghostbusters logo going there, and that appears to be Batman 89 that I'm sure he
actually he was one of the major designers for the Batman toys for the early 90s there. Yeah, 89, 90s.
Very cool. Very cool. Then, of course, my personal favorite. I have met Ron at so many cons. Ron might be okay. I will rat Ron out a little bit, and I'm sorry, Ron. he unlike Jim, his lips might be a little loose about the exclusive figure. I might have known about that. He didn't tell me what it was, but I knew there was something coming. So I was like, "Yeah, I will be there. I must have that." Because I saw him at this random Joe Con in outside of Dallas last summer, and
nice.
He's absolutely amazing any and every time that you see him.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He's also one that's been coming for most years. And originally I said, Ron, the reason why I'm getting you is because I don't want people to think it's a Star Wars convention. So I'm going to point at you and be like, look, he's done absolutely nothing Star Wars ever.
Yeah. I mean, well, he has now. Right.
Yeah, sure enough, he has done a crossover. Yep, there you go. I can't even say that anymore.
Like I have so many like Ron Rudett autographs
dude.
right there. And some of the things, trading cards you got on there. Yeah.
Ron's awesome, man. Good dude.
Guys, let's look at some of the comments we got over here in the chat. It's like amazing. The first live taping of a podcast in Indy. Katie, that's cool.
Awesome, man. That's great. Yeah.
And Margot, like we said, amazing Disneyland cast member in on Batuu on Planet.
Awesome.
The time, and people would get to come out and hang with her and just it's like, no, I'm here at work. I'm an actual Ewok, work in the parks. But Paul Markham, that's Batman 89 there too.
Yeah, he was in Batman 89. He was also an Imperial officer in the famous Emperor walking down the shuttle scene. But he was also in Star Wars as an Imperial officer and other scenes as well. But Paul Markham's cool, and he was supposed to come in 2019, but then it didn't work out. And then he couldn't come because of COVID. And I've been trying to get Paul to come for 7 years. But Paul's coming out, and he's awesome, man. Really nice guy, and a massive career of doing tons of different stuff.
Well, and then, like you said, and then on top of all of that, we've got the Ninja Turtles, man. This is
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reunion.
Little bitty movie called the Police Academy series.
Yeah. Well, he was also whatchamacallit, in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
And Star Trek.
All of the things.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go again, Robbie, and just man of 1,000 voices.
There's a guy that's crazy famous for like everything else he's done besides Michelangelo. But I was like, hey man, I heard you're Michelangelo. Could you come to my convention? And he's like, I'm usually booked for other things. And I'm like, well, that's okay. I like Ninja Turtles.
Well, and they're for the kids. Like, that's Doc McStuffins, isn't he? He was on Doc
See,
McStuffins.
I have no idea who Doc McStuffins is.
I think, I don't know. Maybe it's not. What's the little dragon thing? The little dragon thing's from something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, and then of course, Ernie Reyes Jr.
Ernie Reyes Jr. is awesome, man.
Like, you could not throw a stick at an 80s movie without hitting this man.
Sure enough, dude. Well, he was even in Ninja Turtles. It's two different things. He was Donatello, but he was also Kino, the pizza dude.
Yeah, everything all over there. Then, you got to complete a set. There's Raphael.
Got to complete a set. Need Raphael in there. Ken Scott is awesome because he retweets my stuff. So that's cool. It's usually like pulling teeth to get a guest star to actually like it or retweet it or whatever, but he's good. And there's Paige Turco, who is like super duper famous for some show called The 100 that I've never seen. But I wanted her because she's April O'Neil. And not just for the record, totally had a crush on her when I was a little kid. So
Completely, totally. Because, look at the April O'Neil figure down there like what were they doing to us with the figures?
I don't know, man, but it worked.
We're there. This is why we're doing a podcast about this now.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but it worked.
Oh, Shredder,
James Sato. Yeah. Got to have the bad guy, got to have the good guy. Well, we're going to have a panel with April O'Neil where it's like the morning news with April O'Neil. And then we're going to have one that's just the Masters. And that'll have James Sato and Kevin Clash. Yeah, there you go. Kevin Clash also happens to be Elmo, but I forgot to put it on the picture because I only got him because he's Shredder.
The baby from Dinosaurs?
Yeah, the baby from Dinosaurs. He's also like a bunch of the characters in... what was the one with gee whiz, where's my brain at? With the Skeksis and stuff and
the Dark Crystal?
Dark Crystal. Yeah. He has a bunch of the characters in Dark Crystal. But also he's Elmo from like 20 years of being Elmo.
That's amazing.
But I forgot to put it on the thing because I am obviously not the guy that should be in charge.
That is all right. That is how that goes.
But he's Splinter, dude. So Splinter.
Oh yeah,
so that's pretty awesome.
I literally have my original version of that toy on the shelf over there. There's
nice, dude. Where he's sideways like this.
The Transformers, the one where he can stand up on his tail. That one, and all the things. And that's all the slides that I got like handed in through that it came down. But that's not even all. Right?
No. Just go to the website and there's an updated list. Click on guest stars. They're all there. This is what I sent Spencer like a couple days ago or whatever today. And I was just like, here's all the pictures in the top of my phone, man, because I forgot to do it. So
yeah. And this should be your website right there, ICCcollectorconvention.com.
It's just ICCollectorsconvention.com. Yep, you got it. But also for ease, you can also just type in ICNashville.com.
Okay.
And then it's easier.
Owning the multiple of the websites. There you go.
Yeah. Well, that was the original website, and it's a handful. Because it's like, just email ICCC at ICCollectorsconvention.com. Which, if you try to tell anybody in real life to do that, it's like, what? How many C's? What do you do? What? so now it's like,
that's why it's got to be branded everywhere, Mike. That's why it's on your hat. That's why it's on your pins.
Yeah. Well, dude, to be honest, when I started it, I was just going for the hashtag, I figured who the hell's going to have a hashtag that's this weird? But it's funny. The International Coleman Collectors Association or Convention or whatever has it. They collect like Coleman lanterns in like Ireland. But they got the same name as me, so what are you going to do?
And Splinter greater than Elmo. See, Jeff,
oh, yeah, for sure.
Your age, man. That's showing your age. To a
no, I completely agree.
They would kick Splinter to the curb for Elmo.
No way, man. But that's right. You could see it. I should have done the graphic differently.
But
man, I want to meet him because he's Splinter. That's freaking awesome. I love Splinter.
Yeah, that's perfect. That is amazing. So absolutely, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a great convention. The virtual Cantina is going to have a presence there.
Yeah, you got a booth somewhere in there. Yeah, I saw your name on the
there. We will be, there trading the swag, and I'm relatively certain some of our friends are going to be hitting up those room sales and stuff in the evening. So come on out, see us, visit Mike, get him some swag, meet some people, do some things, go to a podcast, go to a pizza party. Whew. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Make some new friends. We've got bar crawls. We've got there's a giant video game place across the way that wants to like give us discounts and stuff like that. So talk to other people, make new friends at the con. I always say the toughest thing to do after you're 35 years old is make a new friend unless you come to ICCC.
No, that's perfect. That sounds really great. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Mike. It has
Thanks
been
for having
great.
me, brother.
And like just going over all of the things. Thanks everybody out there who watched. This show is going to be archived on the Virtual Cantina Network. If you tuned in for just a bit and you like missed some of the announcements, go back and watch and see what everything was. If you've got friends that are like, hey, I think I'd enjoy that as well, go. It is a big old time. And I love this con, and I love the like small con feel and the interactions that you can get with your heroes, with the people. They're great.
Small con feel with the big con names.
Absolutely. That right there. I like that. You should have that. That should be under that should be on the shirt, man.
I just thought of that right now, man. I use the No Corporation Only Fans. Maybe we got a new hashtag or something.
Sweet.
I don't know. Or whatever it's called. Tagline. Anyway, Dave, thanks for having me on, bro. And thanks for what you do with the VCN. I appreciate you guys. I think what you're doing to grow this hobby is phenomenal, and keep it up. And I hope you have a VCN convention, and I will gladly help you build it. But I love it, man. I know it's obnoxious, but I totally see what I went through in you guys. Because when I saw your pictures out there in Japan, and there's so many people, and it's like, those people love you, man, and they want you to keep growing. So keep growing, and I'll help you in any way I can. But thank you very much for having me on.
Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you, Mike. And thank everybody out there for joining us. Go check out ICCC. And until next time, may the force be with you.
Always.